Guys, happy Tuesday night. I was thinking like Monday has a nice ring to it. Mental Health Monday.
Hey, I'm Jim.
Hold on. Sorry, there's a video playing in the background of
Anxiety,
me and my good buddy Enis. I was thinking like, maybe we should start doing this on Mondays for Mental Health Mondays. But then I remembered Monday is our group coaching day. And our group coaching day is Monday. So it's Mental Health Tuesday. And welcome to the live stream. If you're watching this live or you're watching this on repeat, my name is Jim Cipollini. I'm a mental health coach for Inner Solutions, a company that I started with my business partner, Enis Sirac. We were two guys who struggled for a long time with panic attacks, high anxiety, and we tried a lot of different things, had to do a lot of different research. We tried many modes of therapy. I went through the gauntlet with medication, and that didn't work for me. So eventually, I found the recipe that seemed to be universal and work for me. Now, what we learned is that everybody is a little bit different, of course, and even live anxiety and mental health Q&A. Even the same person can need several different tools throughout their journey. And so what we pride ourselves on doing is we have kind of all the universal tools, the best modes of best therapeutic models, the best in destimulating your nervous system, the best in trying to help people process their emotion. We've kind of taken from all walks of life, whereas you might get a therapist who specializes in CBT, specializes in DBT and IFS, whatever. We use all the tools to kind of find what was working for the right person at the right stage of their journey. And I worry that that's a key element that tends to get lost in these in with certain people. And so we've been discovering more and more that not just understanding why people are struggling with the anxiety, like where it comes from, why are they really struggling with anxiety, but also understanding that what stage they're at, and also what will be the right tool for them. So in that, as far as that, that's where we're at. That's where we're at with it. So I'm having a little bit of technical trouble here. And also my dog is leaning on my mouse hand right now. But you're killing me. You're killing me. I can't do it while your head is there. Live anxiety and mental health. All right, we're going to be going live on Facebook in just a minute. I mean, my the Q&A. Do that there. Okay, over coaching call. And we are pirates. Just kidding. And we're live. We're live on Facebook. Here we go. Guys, welcome to what's today? The 8th? The 9th? It's February. It's my birthday month. It's one of the best months. I love it. And, oh man, they changed around everything here on Facebook. But we're live. How do I get? Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Oh geez. We got a lot more dogs here than we did last week. And that's awesome. And it's chaotic at the same time. There's 2 dogs. I'm just kidding. Guys, welcome to the Inner Solutions live stream every Tuesday night. We're here 6:30 Central Time. My name is Jim Cipollini. I'm a mental health coach. Works. Mental health coach for Inner Solutions, specializing in anxiety, panic attacks, but really anything mental health related is where we work with clients. So currently we work with clients one-on-one, myself and my business partner, Enis who is also a mental health coach. We do have a group coaching program, which is more like a class. So it's a beautiful way to learn week by week the fundamentals, the foundational elements, the tools that we use with our one-on-one clients, and the tools that we use on ourselves to find and maintain balance in dealing with anxiety. And we also create a lot of content, free content on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome. And also here on Facebook doing this live stream. Currently, we are working on a ton of stuff. Working on everything from trying to get covered by insurance to getting into working with certain treatment facilities for post-care, for present care, all the way to starting to try to work with corporations for anxiety coaching as far as a professional setting. So there's lots and lots of irons in the fire, lots going on. So if you're new to the live stream, what we love to do is we'd love to answer questions, love to hear about your situation, your story, love to hear about the next steps on your journey or where you're at. So please, you can post just in the comments on Facebook or in the chat on YouTube. I need to sign into the YouTube account. But other than that, everything is cool. Hey, Albina. Is it Albina or Albina? Please, please explain, maybe spell your name phonetically so I can make sure I'm pronouncing it right. So Albina is asking, please talk about how to manage panic attacks in public, especially while walking. Okay. So Albina, let's start with beyond just the phonetic pronunciation of your name, and you'll have to excuse me because I am just trying to get to our Facebook page, or our YouTube page. So managing panic attacks while in public. The problem with a panic attack is if you treat the panic attack more so like a trauma, as though the initial panic attack is a heavy event, that the worst part of a panic attack is actually the anxiety around the panic attack of having one. So that's when you find that people are scared to be alone. They're scared to be in public. They're scared to drive because this is so, dude, like managing the dogs and managing getting the stream going. I promise I'll be more smooth in about 15 seconds. So it's the fear of having the panic attack, the fear of what might happen if they have a panic attack. And then within having a panic attack, that experience, the fears are typically something like, I'm going to die, I'm going to go crazy, I'm going to lose control. So when you, first of all, begin to feel confident that you, anxiety, Q&A, Albina, I got you. Hold on one second. Q&A. 1/8/21. Nope, it's 2/8/21. There's no way I can set this up ahead of time, so you gotta apologize. I have to apologize. Albina. Okay, there we go. So Albina, not Albanian. Nice. Okay. So, all right, let me go back. So I would ask you first, Albina, got you. Albina Raki, cool name. Where are you from, by the way? Oh, you're Albanian. Okay, you're Albanian, but your name is Albina. Welcome from Albania. Welcome from Nashville. So, right off the bat, I want to ask a couple questions. Number one is, do you have other fears, or is it specifically agoraphobia? Because the fear of having a panic attack in public and the fear of, like, there can be a lot of peripheral fear around having a panic attack. For example, like I was saying, the fear of being embarrassed, the fear of going to the hospital, the fear of driving and crashing, the fear of anything that comes from having a panic attack, people thinking you're crazy, being treated differently, the fear of being alone. So if it's specifically agoraphobia, then that's very different. But a lot of times, if you're having other auxiliary fears, there's kind of two two spectrums. Number one is you can work on pinpointing what is the fear. Like, what is the actual fear that you're scared is going to happen? Are you scared people are going to look at you differently? Are you scared you're going to be taken away in an ambulance? Are you scared? What is the fear? The other is if you have rising general anxiety. General anxiety is when you start to just kind of see different anxieties across the board. So you're just in an overstimulated state, but it's maybe manifesting as like a fear of driving, fear of being out, a few different things. So if there's one specific anxiety, the answer is a little different than if it's a general anxiety. If it's just that specific anxiety, like for you, Albina, what the source is dealing with that panic attack. Because if you feel more confident and comfortable in dealing with the panic attack, you're not going to be so worried about being out in public. So give me a little more background information so I can specify a better answer for you instead of giving you a lot of these general anxieties. Kayla, what's up? What's up, Kayla? Thanks for being here. A lot of these names don't look familiar, guys. Hey, Don, how are you? Hello, I've had anxiety and panic attacks since I was a preteen. Something I struggle with tremendously is health anxiety. I have to stay off WebMD. Yeah, so Kayla, a key to dealing with health anxiety is, number one, getting to the source of where it came from. A lot of times health anxiety starts with some kind of either traumatic health event for you or for a family member, or it comes from kind of an absorbed fear. So maybe when you were a kid or you were a preteen, your parents talked a lot about having a heart attack, or maybe your father had a heart attack. There's some triggering event typically that causes the anxiety to manifest into the health anxiety. So when you go back to that event, and there's many ways that you can do this, I would recommend you journal and just or meditate or I would recommend journaling, or meditation, that you write down or you kind of talk out any association you have with this anxiety, where you think it may have come from. If that is not working, I would recommend you get with a coach or counselor, and they help you to understand where this stemmed. Then you can go back and do some regressive therapy. You can kind of do some healing work on reprocessing that, and also like from the stuck emotion that's in there from the event. And then in real time, you can start to use some techniques like cognitive behavioral therapy or internal family systems therapy to start to shift and curb the behavior. Because right now, Kayla, I would think of it very similar to an addiction as far as like doing the WebMD, doing the thing, because it's driven by an anxiety. It's driven by a discomfort. And so to break the habit or the addiction, you, number one, have to get to the source, and number two, have to connect and align everything, including your present behavior, so that you're not reinforcing that pattern. And it can be uncomfortable at first, but you get a big momentum boost when you process that old stuck emotion. And furthermore, Kayla, it's learning to unblend a little bit and get a little bit of space from that thought pattern, that part of you that not only feels very anxious, but then also that part of you that wants to do the research, that it's trying to get the information, because those sometimes can be separate parts. Albina says, I just don't want to go into agoraphobia. Yeah, give me some more information. Dawn says, hi. Hey, Dawn, how are you? So good to see you. Welcome. Albina says, I'm scared if I'm going to faint or something. So typically with a panic attack, Albina, it's your blood pressure goes up. Fainting is typically when your blood pressure goes down. And by typically, that's how it works. So fainting is irrational, but there's still a part of you that is worried about it. And what is the fear? Like, what happens if you faint in public? That it's going to cause a big stir? Because with something like that, you're already having panic attacks, which means your anxiety is already high. And so we want to alleviate the pressure of what might happen. And right now with the, what if I faint, and what if I do this, and what if I'm embarrassed? If we can cut to the core, then we could do a little thought replacement, or we can work with it to understand, why. What is the actual fear? Yeah. Let me check on YouTube real quick. What's up, Veggie Fly? Could I speak on dealing with weed withdrawals and the anxiety with that? Yes, of course. And Anisha says, hi. Hey, Anisha. How are you? So great to see you. Thanks for coming, guys. And Anna, I'm so sorry. I didn't even see you. How are you? Great to see you. Guys, by the way, we have a ton of content and a ton more coming on our YouTube page. If you search Inner Solutions on YouTube, I can actually, and I'll post the link in the chat. But real simply, if you just type Inner Solutions in YouTube and you see our little logo there, that's our channel. There's like over 50 videos, I believe, right now on all kinds of anxiety, health anxiety, depersonalization, money, all types of anxiety. We have a ton more coming. We have some really cool interviews up there too. I feel like I'm speaking a mile a minute. I'm going to slow down a little bit. Veggie Fly, I love your name, by the way. And guys, please subscribe. Could you speak on dealing with weed withdrawals and the anxiety with that? Sure. So Veggie Fly, weed withdrawals are going to be the same as any sort of coping mechanism withdrawals, meaning you want to learn why you were using weed. So Veggie, I would want to know how were you using weed? If you were using it to calm your anxiety, then I don't know if there's a whole lot of chemical withdrawal. I would think more that that's just you're feeling your anxiety more, and that there's a higher stressor when your body is so programmed and habituated to using that substance as a way of coping with the anxiety that you feel. So I don't know if there's anything chemical going on. I've never heard of anything chemical with weed or THC because it is not addictive. However, it is definitely, I believe it's habit forming. If you use it in a way where you're trying to avoid something that you don't want to feel, just like anything else, just like sugar or food or people or phone calls or bars or anything, any other thing that can be habit forming that's trying to avoid how you feel. Kayla says, agreed with her. I've always had fear of fainting and an ambulance having to come take me. So what is the fear of the ambulance, Kayla? Like what's the worst case scenario with that? Hey, Lisa, how are you? Thanks for coming. So good to see you. Hope everything's going. Give us a check-in, guys. Guys, if you haven't checked in, let us know how your journey's going, please. I keep saying us. It's me and the dogs. You guys going to help them with you guys got some advice? My dog I just got a new dog and he's very anxious. So it's a good test. I've been trying to do CBT on him, but he won't do it. That was a joke. Albina says, being out helps me a lot with my anxiety relief, but also makes me have those thoughts about what if a panic attack is going to happen right now? And then here it goes. Albina, give me some more information. What's up, Tara? How are you? Good to see you. Albina, I need more information. And this might be the next step in your journey, which is, what does that mean? If that's true, what does it mean? If you were to have a panic attack in public, what does it mean? Does it mean you won't be able to call for help? Does it mean you may have to go to the hospital? Does it mean you're in an unsafe place? It's really important to distill it down to what the fear is. Kayla says, I have an irrational fear of death. The health anxiety stemmed from medical shows on TV. Okay. Irrational fear of death. So a lot of times the fear isn't about death, Kayla. The fear is typically about what would it mean if you were to die. So there's a few different common answers that we feel, but I'd love for you to break it down. There's usually a fear of a lot of suffering or pain. There's a fear of things being unresolved. So that could be, I don't resolve a situation with my parents. I never really met my potential. And then a big one is the fear of death is the fear of being alone, that's a process that you go through alone. And that typically goes along with people with a high level of codependence, or people who have developed a real deep fear of being alone, like people with panic attacks. A lot of our clients with panic attacks are really scared to be alone because they're scared if they have that panic attack, then they won't be able to ask for help. And they're scared their symptoms will be overwhelming. Guys, remember, panic attacks don't kill you. They don't make you go crazy, and they don't make you go insane. Or they don't make you lose control. They're uncomfortable, and they're scary, but your body's releasing adrenaline, and it's having a reaction to it. That's all that it is. Yeah, that's all a panic attack is. Kayla says, the fear of losing control of your own body. Yeah, exactly, Kayla, losing control. But you're not going to lose control during a panic attack. And what we talk about is the feedback loop. What's up, Gad? How are you, Gad? What we talk about is that in that feedback loop, Kayla. So the feedback loop is when a physical sensation triggers a thought, which triggers an emotion, which triggers another physical sensation, and it builds on itself. So a lot of times in panic attacks, this happens when the heart might skip a beat. And then the thought is this a panic attack? Uh-oh. And then the feeling is fear, which causes the physical sensation in the body of fear, which causes, oh my God, this is going to get worse. And it builds on itself and turns into the panic attack. So the way to break the feedback loop is, number one, stay grounded and release the resistance to the panic attack. When you know they're not going to kill you, it's not going to make you go crazy, not going to make you lose control. That really what's happening is that you're having a physical sensation. And that physical sensation is triggering your fight or flight to release. Once your fight or flight releases, adrenaline, glucose, and it takes a little bit for those chemicals to calm down. So we always recommend you start with box breathing. Exhale for 4. Hold for 4. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. And you repeat that. And so right off the bat, you're signaling to your nervous system, hey, and your fight or flight mechanism, hey, there is no threat. We're okay. And so now it's going to shut off that release. Therefore, those chemicals just have to run their course. That's why it lasts a few minutes, or even sometimes up to about 10 minutes. But you want to signal right away to that nervous system, hey, everything's okay. Next thing you want to do is just observe your thoughts. Don't absorb your thoughts. Observe them. Stay grounded. Remind yourself. Sometimes you have to take some preliminary action. Write yourself a letter. Take a video of yourself like, hey, coaching yourself. Hey, everything's okay. Our body released some chemicals. They've got to run their course. Everything's going to be fine. Then when you're done with the panic attack, then it's time to process that emotion, that stuck emotion, that destimulate your nervous system and process that emotion. So if you have unresolved things in your life, if you have past trauma, you deal with them, and you deal with them through writing, through meditation, through getting with a good coach or counselor. Guys, you can schedule a call with us. We offer a free first-time call to anybody over 18 who is struggling with panic attacks and anxiety. And in that call, we'll find the real reason you're struggling with anxiety, where you need to point your attention and focus, and also the next best tangible steps, because everybody's a little bit different on where they're at. So I would highly encourage you. The link should be in the description on Facebook, or you can go to innersolutions.academy. That's innersolutions.academy, not .com, innersolutions.academy, and there should be a link there to schedule a free call. We want to get on the phone with you. We want to help. Guys, we at the company struggled for years, and we have helped hundreds of people at this point work through their panic attacks and anxiety. Thanks for sharing. By the way, Kayla, good work sharing. I know it can be uncomfortable. You're doing great. Albina says, because if I faint, I'm 100% sure that I'll never go out. Yes, Albina, we definitely want to. I would highly encourage you to schedule a call, and I would highly encourage you to look into cognitive behavioral therapy, because this thought, if I faint, I'm 100% sure that I'll never go out, is completely distorted and not true. In cognitive behavioral therapy, just to streamline what it is thought replacement therapy. So we take that thought, if I faint, I'm 100% sure that I'll never go out. We look at these list of reasons why it's not true. There's 10 common cognitive distortions. We look at the list and identify them. Where number one, you're future predicting, and you don't have a funky fruit hat on your head. And we didn't call an 800 number to talk to you because you're not Miss Cleo. You're not a psychic. The truth is you're scared, or you're nervous that if you faint, you're scared you'll never go out again. So we would replace that thought with something along the lines of we could break it into two, but because if I faint because of the panic attack is one, and then I'm 100% sure I'll never go out. So I would replace it with something like this. While I'm worried about fainting, panic attacks raise your blood pressure, which is the opposite of fainting. So realistically, I will not faint from a panic attack. And then I would say, even though I'm nervous of that, if I faint, I'll never go out. I'm not a future predictor. And the truth is, going out helps with my anxiety. And so there's lots of people who have avoided situations because of their panic attacks or anxiety. And with support and with intervention, do those things that they started avoiding again. Work back into those fears. There's actually a mode of therapy called exposure and response that is directly that, going gradually or incrementally into the places that you've started avoiding because of anxiety. And so there's lots and lots of support to help you through that. So that's a really quick snippet of what cognitive behavioral therapy is, Albina. And what I would say is you have some really heavy emotions that you need support with. So get some support. I mean, we're here 100%. Go check out the YouTube page, but also doing a self-led journey in the state that you're in may not be the best option. So everybody needs support. I mean, that's one of the pillars of working through this. Kayla says, I have fear of cancer, fear of pain, fear of being in a hospital. I give myself psychosomatic symptoms. First of all, I would change that to, I give myself. Be careful, because you're not giving yourself this. There's a part of you that's so scared. One thought pattern that's really, really nervous. Hey, Deborah. Hey, from Florida. How are you? We got a lot of new faces in here. This is fantastic. Well, guys, welcome. My name is Jim. I'm a mental health coach. So glad you're here. Please share your struggles, your stories, questions. If the chances are, if you have the question, somebody else has it too. So you're not, the giving myself psychosomatic symptoms, there's a part of you that's so scared that is leading you to do research or leading you to read things that we call it the reverse placebo effect, where you hear about something and then you get so anxious that you may manifest that symptom. But the truth is, anxiety symptoms are like across the board. There's so many ways anxiety can manifest itself. Chest palpitations, dizziness, headaches, tension in the arms and the legs, stomach pain, vomiting, when you look at the list of symptoms, any kind of combination of those could look like something else. So there's a lot of overlap and a lot of vulnerability for kind of being fooled by your symptoms. Kayla, I would recommend too that you just schedule a call, that we hop on a call, and also that you go on the YouTube page and check out our videos we have a video about health anxiety. We have another video about health anxiety coming up within the next week. I would stay tuned for that. But the key is, just like I was saying before, number one, try to cut off the habit as best that you can. Find a new coping mechanism. Number two, identify the event that triggered this fear, because you're having kind of a trauma response, meaning you got, and trauma works on a spectrum, but you were somewhat traumatized by something that happened that has given you the fear of cancer, fear of pain, fear of being in a hospital. So who had cancer, or what stories did you see that had cancer? Because there's a part of you that's latching onto that's so nervous about that happening, but it's completely irrational. So there's lots of different techniques, lots of modes of therapy and tools that would help you. It's not always an overnight process with how intensely you're feeling it, but if you commit and you really seek support and make it your priority, 100% sure you could be feeling significantly better. Sam says, hey, Jim, about to head to bed, but I hope you have a great evening and stream. Thank you, Sam. Lots of love, man. Hi from Florida, Deborah. Welcome. Shantae, what's up? Ashley says, hi, do you use essential oils? If so, any you suggest that are calming besides lavender? Seems like everywhere I look, it's either essential oils or CBD products a lot more. I have an oil diffuser. Do I use it for anxiety? Not so much. So I would recommend you go to a store with a bunch of oils and you smell a bunch of them and find what is soothing for you. It's smell is the best grounding sensory tool, I find. It kind of skips over your prefrontal executive functioning part of your brain straight to your emotional part of your brain, which is fantastic, more so than taste, hearing, anything else. Those tend to be intellectually processed as well, but this one goes right to the animal brain. But Ashley, yeah, I have, my brother actually sent me like a dozen essential oils. So I like, I like what I like. I like patchouli because I'm a little bit of a hippie, but, no judgment to those of you like patchouli, my hippie bros and sisters. Kayla says, I'm an only child and fear how my parents would handle me dying. Yeah, so Kayla, wrapped up in all these anxieties, maybe, are all these different avenues to explore that require different kind of tools and techniques. Maybe there's an unhealthy level of codependency there. Maybe there's an unhealthy level of lack of boundaries there as far as your parents. And maybe there's just you're the fixer, you're the responsible one. Within all this, Kayla, there's going to be some universal things to do. Number one, start destimulating your nervous system. That's everything from diet, media diet, content diet, food diet, relationship diet, environment diet, to the exercise, to meditation, to making sure you're sleeping well. All these things are things that you can do today. Write out all those categories, how they're going, how's your environments, how's this, and start with the easiest thing that you can start to change. Maybe it's just integrating in some magnesium, some healthy protein and fat to help with the anxiety. And maybe it's, taking some time from relationships that are stressing you out temporarily, not forever, but taking some time. Things that we can do to destimulate your nervous system. Because Kayla, you're throwing out a bunch of stuff, and we want to help you with it. So if you want to schedule a call, schedule a call. Look, I'm not here selling calls. I'm telling you guys about this because it's the best next step. It is by far the best thing you can do to get with somebody who has been through it, who has studied the techniques to overcome it, and who will really listen to you in a really caring and empathetic way to help you and give you practical steps that you can take on your journey. But no one's going to do it for you. You got to do it yourself. Shantae says, hello. Shantae, how are you? Shantae, check in. How's everything in your journey? How are you feeling? Deborah says, same fear of death. Yeah. Check in, Deborah. Is that fear of death, is there anything unresolved in your life? Is that fear of death being alone? Is that fear of death the fear of suffering? Death happens, just kind of like sleep. Sleep happens. The fear of death, it's really important to get a little deeper into what would it mean. So you can do an exercise like this. If I were to die, what would it mean? That I would be no more. Okay, well, if that were true, what would it mean? That I'd cease to exist. Well, if that were true, what does it mean? That no one would be thinking of me. Okay, well, if that were true, what does it mean? That I never really mattered. Now we're hitting onto something that's, if that were true, what does it mean? That no one really loved me. If that were true, what does it mean? That I'm just all alone. You see how you can kind of trace these things down deeper with a simple phrase. If that were true, what does it mean? Lisa says, what the fear of what will happen to those you leave behind like kids? Yeah. So that is not only just a rational anxiety, is what will happen to my children when I'm left behind. Now, we can use that to take some sort of action. And sometimes the anxiety is rational and it's trying to get your attention because it's like, hey, by the way, we're not financially sound, or we don't have a plan in place in case something were to happen to us, to the kids. So you can use that as a catalyst. So I actually, a few years ago, was contacted by some close friends who said, hey, we are like doing our will. We're trying to get our ducks in a row. Would you be willing to be, I forget what they called it. I forget what it's called. But basically, would you be willing to take our child if something were to happen to us? And I was like, wow, yeah, of course I will. But they were using an anxiety they felt to take an action. And then that settled their anxiety. Like, okay, well, if something were to happen to us, I feel good. Like, at least that's taken care of. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes these anxieties are not just, even though they might be heavy, they're trying to get your attention for a reason. And we need to help them. Deborah says, faith shaken with new, younger family values changing. Deborah, not sure I totally understand. Yeah, can you explain a little bit more? Faith shaken with new, younger family values changing. Like the younger generation, the family values are changing. That's a really, Deborah, if I think what will happen to CD and Grands, Deborah, I'm not following you 100%. Give me more information. But I think that what I think you're saying is that you're feeling uncomfortable because it feels like what you grew up with as family values are changing. You can actually use that exercise. If that were true, what does it mean about me, or what does it mean for me with that? Because a lot of times that's a little bit more of a fear of like the foundation you've kind of set up with is untrue. You find that this happens a lot when people start to question their religion. They have this kind of larger existential anxiety about like, well, what do I do? What's my direction? Like everything foundationally I built my life upon is untrue or uncomfortable. Anisha says, I'm back on YouTube, guys, by the way. Welcome, YouTube fam. Aaron says, hi, Jim. Thank you for doing these live streams. I look forward to this every Tuesday. Aaron, you're so welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much. Guys, if you know somebody who you think would gain value through being here, please recommend or share our site with them. You know, we're here to help as many people as possible. What will happen to CD and Grands? Yeah, Deborah, I need more information. Health issues not accepted also. We'll set up call. Okay. Yeah, Deborah, that's a great idea. Lisa says, set up a call. These guys are amazing. Lisa. Shucks. Oh, my gosh. Devin says, while I was in the psych ward, he was the one who helped me through it all. Devin, I appreciate the support, brother. Devin says, hey, Jim. Devin, you said hey, James before. Now you're saying hey, Jim. James or Jim, Devin? Pick one. I'm just kidding. Brother, I hope you're doing really well, man. You got a good heart, man. No doubt about it. Ashley says, I honestly wish that therapists are more like you. You speak from a place of understanding. It really is an amazing thing you're doing, helping others. Thank you for all you do. Ashley, you're so welcome. Thanks for coming here. And, you know, look, I talk about these things like they're just really simple. Like, hey, just when you're having a panic attack, just observe your thoughts. When you're having a panic attack, just start breathing. Like, just be ready. It's hard, man. I know that. I don't want to downplay how easy it is to do this stuff because the techniques are easy, but it's all about being proactive, taking action, and getting support, getting information. Like, the hardest part of the anxiety and the panic attacks for me was feeling so alone in them because nobody could take them away from me. Like, I had support. I had people that loved me, but nobody could take them away. And so I really had to do the work. And, you know, this is what clients who get better, which is the majority of people that we work with, because nowadays we won't take on clients if we don't think we can help them or if they're not in the right frame of mind, because it's not an overnight process. That might be a lucky surprise, but most of the people we deal with have been through the ringer, tried some different medications, tried a few therapists. And if you're not willing to step out of your comfort zone or learn or be intentional or write things down or have a plan, or even show up every week, everybody's a little different, then the truth is you're living on a wing and a prayer. You're like Bon Jovi, living on a prayer. It doesn't just magically go away. And rarely is there just a medication that causes it to just go away. Medication is something, that can help, which is great. But if you get a little bit of support and you're feeling better, then it's the time to go more into it and time to, deal with the unprocessed emotion, deal with the trauma, destimulate your nervous system even more because you have more wherewithal, you have more presence of mind to do that. A lot of times with people who are really, really struggling, like 8, 9, 10 level anxiety out of 10, we're just trying to destimulate and deal with the symptoms, deal with the panic attacks, and do our best to move them backwards. And so, guys, there's a ton of stuff that you can do now. Also on the innersolutions.academy, there's a free training video. I believe that's still up there. The free training video, we're actually shooting a new one that'll be up within the next couple weeks. But there's a free training video with more in-depth stuff about that. But the truth is, support is so key. But thank you for this. Thank you for the support, Ashley, and the kind words. It means a lot to us. Cindy says, hi, Jim. Hey, Cindy. Welcome back. Great to see you. Ashley says, I have this app and the lady's voice on it is not calming. I need you to do a voiceover on my app, please. Message me here on Facebook with what you're kind of looking for. And on our YouTube page, we have some great meditations. Enis posted a meditation on releasing stuck emotion. I think it's releasing stuck emotion. There's one on happiness and there's another one. And I listened to it beautifully. It really helps me to release stuck emotion. And guys, when we're talking about processing emotion, it's not just old trauma. It's everything you're storing from the day. The guy that pissed you off, the guy that cut you off, all this stuff that you feel like is just living in you. We want to keep that emotional suppression tank empty. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just if you've had a heinous trauma or something really, really heavy or terrible happen to you. It's also real time. Because when we get through the kind of processing old emotion, at the same time, we're working on how to live with processing emotion in real time. I use the phrase, stop letting things slide and start letting things go. Meaning like instead of letting things slide like, oh, that's no big deal or do that. No, sharing how you feel about an event is incredibly powerful. Having crucial conversations, asking for help is incredibly powerful, especially at work or in a relationship. We take ownership of our own feelings, but at the same time, asking your husband, like, excuse me, I don't know why you'd say excuse me to your husband, but going to your husband and saying, look, I need help. I'm struggling with something. Every time I see that you left a towel on the bed, I get really stressed out and it feels like you don't care about me. And is that true? Like that's what I'm playing in my head. That intimacy, that openness, that vulnerability, and having that conversation is absolutely essential. It's essential because then you take this from in here, you bring it out to the external. Number one, you're reprocessing because what you say or what you write or what you bring into your awareness through like a meditation or different modes of therapy goes back into your brain for intellectual reprocessing, and that helps you sort it out. So maybe you say something and you saying it out loud, and maybe this has happened to you, is like, oh, whoa, okay, it's not a big deal, like it's okay. And you can kind of soothe that part of you that feels stuck and feels like it's a big deal and feels like your husband doesn't care about you. So really honoring how you feel and taking an action. But a lot of times we're in such habits and we have parts of us dictating our journey that have been doing something for so long that we need a fresh perspective or we need some sort of new behavior or habit to help us deepen that awareness of it. Because again, it's really easy to get blinders on and just follow the same habit. Absolutely. Shantae says, am I saying that right, Shantae, or is it Shanty? I think it's Shantae. Spell it out phonetically so I can understand. I want to make sure I'm saying it right. And welcome back, Shantae, or Shanty. Shantae, it's got to be Shantae. Not really having the best time of my life. I feel pathetic. I have cardiac phobia, panic attacks. My mother passed away on Christmas Eve, and I'm just a mess. I'm so sorry, Shantae. I'm so sorry. Your mother passing away is grieving. It's just that simple. It's grieving and not just grieving the loss of your mother, but probably if you were really close, grieving your life as well, grieving the change in your life and the fear of how it's going to be different, not knowing what to expect. Shantae, our hearts go out for you. To you 100%. As far as the cardiac phobia, I'm not 100% sure what that means. Is that the fear of cardiac arrest? Is that the fear of a high heartbeat? Cardiac phobia. Cardiophobia? Cardiophobia is defined as an anxiety disorder of persons characterized by repeated complaints of chest pain, heart palpitations, and other somatic sensations accompanied by fears of having a heart attack and of dying. Shantae, panic attacks do not kill you. They don't cause you to lose control. And they don't cause you to go crazy. It's the truth. So a little CBT or a lot of CBT mixed with some IFS, I like acronyms, would be a beautiful combination for you. So I would recommend you hop on a call with us. And we can help you find the next steps. The E is silent. Shan't. So it's shan't? Okay. Cindy says, nice to see you too. Hey, Cindy. Don says, yes, Jim, you have a soothing voice. Well, hey, Don. Thank you so much. Yeah. The fear of having a heart attack. And is the fear typically, I still don't know how to say it, shan't? Shan't. Okay. Is the fear having particularly with a panic attack or just in general? Doug says, hey, Jim, great advice. Nice to see you. Nice to see you too, buddy. Doug's a guy I grew up with. Miss you, bud. Hope everything's great. We used to ride four-wheelers together. Aaron on YouTube says, I ordered a therapy notebook online. It is CBT-based and has notes written by therapists on several pages. Haven't used it yet because I've been feeling really good. That's awesome. Aaron, number one, so pumped you're feeling good. That's awesome. Don't get complacent. Like, there's a difference between the journey of getting to feeling good, then there's a difference between maintaining feeling really good. So whatever got you there, continue it. And then now it's time to turn and be assertive. Now it's time to kind of turn the tables on the anxiety and seek out the things that maybe you're a little scared of, so that you're constantly training and keeping yourself in a good state of mind where your defense against anxiety is really strong. The best defense is a strong offense. Shan't. Is that really how you say it? Shan't? I don't know if I'm saying that right. I need support. Yeah. There's a lot of great workbooks, therapy workbooks. There's some great CBT workbooks, DBT workbooks. You just can go on Amazon and do a search for cognitive behavioral therapy workbooks. We recommend the book Feeling Great by David Burns. Just came out last year. He wrote a book about, was it 40 years ago? 40 years ago, called Feeling Good, which has sold millions of copies and was like the industry standard on CBT when it was, it wasn't like brand new, but it was pretty new. And now he's updated it. And it's amazing. So Feeling Great by David Burns is fantastic. Dare by Barry McDonough. That sounds like McDonald's. Hold on. Dare Barry McDonough. I think he's an Irishman. The New Way to End Anxiety and Stop Panic Attacks. Yeah. So we use a lot of techniques from Dare, which is a great book. The thing is, with a lot of these, is it Shate? I don't know. What's up, Lori? How are you? Hey, Teresa, how are you? Sorry about calling you Ishmael today. Dude, Ishmael. The E is exactly in A, but you spell it S-H-A. I know, I can see the spelling. Spell it out phonetically. Phonetically would mean like, kind of like you see in a dictionary, there's like the word, and then there's like in parentheses, like, you know, like Cipollini would be like CHIP-O-LEANIE. That's phonetically like how it sounds. Because I'm still not getting it. The E is exactly in A, but you spell it. I still don't even know what that means. The E is exactly in A. I feel like we're getting off topic here, but now I'm like, gotta get this right. Can't disrespect Shantae or Shant. I shan't disrespect Shantae. This is a little iced tea. We were talking about books. We don't talk about dialectical behavioral therapy that much on here. Dialectical behavioral therapy is... we use it innately. We really use it innately. Like, we kind of do it. It's the same with like cognitive behavioral therapy. You automatically do this when you're kind of talking to yourself. You're also doing internal family systems at the same time. You're talking to these parts of yourself. You ever give yourself a pep talk? There's like, yeah. There's, man, I lost my train of thought. I actually forgot what I was talking about completely. That's all right. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Shantae. It's Shantae. Okay. I've been saying it right the whole time. All right. Well, that's the best. I got confused even though I was doing it right. I love that. My dog has separation anxiety. It's really interesting to learn about dog psychology because it's very similar to kind of baby psychology and really, young development psychology in the way that you deal with separation and change the association. You kind of redirect that part of them that feels the fear of the separation. And yeah, it's so great to relate it to humans because, especially when people are struggling from panic attacks, people are such a grounding source for them. Like having people around them, whether it's to call for help in case things get bad, whether it's to snap them out of these really strong thought patterns they have, these overwhelming thought patterns. Dogs are kind of the same way. And the way you train a dog is you just break it out of its autopilot response. And you can do this through a click, through a snap, through a little bit of a touch, through redirecting it. And it's the same with your anxiety. And it's the same with your body. Your body wants to repeat the behavior that's already happened, especially in an overstimulated nervous system. It's very much like feeling on autopilot. And so when you're starting to put more intentional ways of thinking, you're starting to carve these new neural pathways. And the more you carve those pathways, the more that becomes your new autopilot, meaning your body and your mind want to repeat that behavior. So it's swimming those waters of change that is the most uncomfortable in the beginning because you're going against the current of what's already carved out in your mind. And that can be tricky. That can be real uncomfortable. Did the stream freeze? Am I frozen? No. Am I? Guys, did the video feed happen to freeze? Or no? Because it looks frozen on YouTube. Let me know. Or is that just my... No, it didn't freeze. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Shantae says, so I do meditate and I do journal, but I don't know how to grieve over my mom because these panic attacks are so scary, so that's all I think about. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I don't know how to grieve over my mom because these panic attacks are taking up all the space. Right. So it might not be the right time for you to grieve. Right? It might be time to focus on the panic attacks and allow the grieving to happen. Because what we want to do is allow the emotion to flow through you. And if you're trying to control everything, like the real key to getting through panic attacks and any sort of anxiety is releasing the resistance towards whatever's happening. And it's the same with grieving. It's like you can set yourself up in an intentional time to maybe journal about your mom, maybe journal about, like, consciously focus your attention into thinking about what it means that your mom passed away, thinking about what some of the fears you feel are, and to shift your focus into that, whether it's through journaling or just sitting quietly or through talking it out with somebody. But if this panic attack is taking up all the space in your mind, Shantae, that would move to priority, as I'm sure it has. So what are you not doing that you could be doing, Shantae? Because we hear a lot from people like, hey, I'm doing everything. I've tried everything. And the answer is always, no, you haven't. You haven't tried everything, or you haven't tried everything consistently for long enough for it to work. And, you know, it's hard. It's hard to curb your behavior. It's hard to change your diet. It's hard to break addictions to media and to, you know, YouTube and to stuff like that. It's really, really hard, especially when you're in a state where a lot of those things are your coping mechanisms that are soothing you. So, yeah, I mean, definitely getting some external support from the right type of external support, Shantae, which means people who are going to listen, who are going to be understanding, and if possible, people who have an energy that you maybe admire, meaning they're a little more on the calm, they're a little more collected. Because if you hang out with somebody who's maybe overstimulated like you are, they could easily trigger you. So yeah, shifting into getting some support and then really, really taking some intentional action. Aaron, thanks for the note, guys. Thank you for letting me know that I'm not frozen. Mine was frozen. That was weird. I had a big emotional release yesterday in my therapy session. And it, man, crying felt like returning back to my body. I could feel this tension, this chaos, and just talking it out. And for me, a lot of times that's what I'm doing in meditation, is just inviting the sadness forward, inviting the fear forward, especially if I'm anxious. I know when I'm anxious, there's a part of me in there that's really anxious and really just wants to surrender and cry. And releasing resistance is also what we call surrendering to, you know, and aligning yourself in your surrender with maybe your spiritual beliefs. Maybe it's surrendering to God, surrendering to the universe, surrendering to the situation, knowing what you can control, and grieving whatever you need to grieve, whatever the loss is, the loss of a future you thought was going to be there, the loss of your expectations. And, you know, our bodies and minds can hold on to things really tightly. And so that grieving can be hard. As she says, Shantae, I'm sorry that can't be easy. Do you have family to support you? And give yourself time day by day. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. The cure for anxiety is trust. That's simple. Say it. I say it all the time. The cure for anxiety is trust. The trust things are going to be okay. The trust in whatever your spiritual beliefs are. The trust in your partner. The trust in yourself. Trust. Cindy says, I've had a very stressful emotional life situation happen to me in this past week, and it's caused me to go backwards into my fears that I've worked through. Yeah, Cindy, processing out events and emotions is not a one-step thing. And we were talking about this today, Enis and I. You may have had a really traumatic event happen when you were 15, may have gone to therapy at 22, really worked through it, cried a lot, processed through it. Then 10 years later, you get into a major relationship, or you get married and you're in a really intimate relationship, and there's a connection like you've never had, and it stirs a whole bunch of stuff that stems from that traumatic event up that maybe was never dealt with. And there's another layer of processing. So Cindy, don't be discouraged. This is very, very normal. And you're definitely not stuck in being triggered, throughout the rest of your life. But it needs to be processed out, Cindy. Missy says hi. Hey, Missy. Thanks for coming by. Shantae says, I'm not accepting the panic attacks, and I'm not being proactive with my meditation or journal like I should be, not going to lie. Good. Shantae, that right there is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, which is just being honest with yourself. Just being honest. I'm not doing everything I can. And that's good news, because if you're struggling and you're not doing everything you can, it means there's something you can do about it. Yeah. I'm not accepting the panic attacks. Yeah. You can fight them all you want, but it's not in your best interest. It's not going to do anything except make them worse, because the suffering from the panic attack is the resistance towards it right off the bat. Like, it's all the stories that escalate, that we believe, that validates the sensations and emotions. But it's also, this has to stop. I have to stop this. This is out of control. This is trust. The trust sounds something like this. I'm having some physical sensations. Wow. The trust doesn't sound like, well, the trust also can sound like, well, there's some thoughts in there that are freaking out. There's part of me that's freaking out right now. Okay. Whoop. I make this noise when I used to have panic attacks towards the tail end when I felt like confident. It was, woo, oh, that was a weird physical sensation. That was strange. Whereas before it was, holy shit, I'm dying. Holy shit, I'm having a heart attack. Oh my God, there's something really wrong with me. Now it was just, woo, still got that palpitation there. And I've, maybe feel a quick wave of like, disconcert, disarray. That's the word. A quick hit of disarray. Yeah. So, Shantae, bravo for being open and honest about it. Absolutely bravo. What's up, Patty C? Mamok. How are you? We're just about wrapping up, guys. So, want to say thank you so much. I keep saying we. I'm here every Tuesday at 6:30. Guys, you can help us by sharing the links to your friends, by just letting them know that we're here, sharing the link for them to schedule a free coaching call with us if they're struggling. Getting the word out. And you can also help us by liking and subscribing to YouTube. If you want to help out, there's no pressure. None of that is necessary, but greatly appreciated. And you can really help us by prioritizing your mental health in your life, meaning like you are super important and you deserve to feel great, and you can feel great. And it might not be easy. It might not be comfortable. But if you're here, are you feeling like life is easy, or are you feeling like life is comfortable right now? So no matter what you do, no matter where you are, no matter how long you've been suffering, no matter how intense the suffering is, or whether it's getting better or worse, or you were struggled 10 years ago, you had a great 10 years and now it came back, you can do this. You've got this. All you need to do is get some support, gather information, and make yourself the top priority. And your first step might look like scheduling a free call here, or just reading a book, or just starting to journal, just starting to meditate, just starting to take a magnesium supplement, just starting to take Epsom salt baths. Something. Take some sort of action, because you deserve to feel great, and you can. Guys, my name is Jim Cipollini. I'm a mental health coach for Inner Solutions. Thank you so much for your time. I'm so appreciative to those of you who came by, to those of you who shared, and we have so much love and empathy and support for you guys. Just, you got this. You're way stronger than you think. Lots of love, guys, and good luck on your journeys. We'll see you next week, 6:30 Central Time. Thanks again. Bye.